Welcome to 5-7 day 2. Let's do a couple problems. First one we're going to look at is number 11. We have a squared thing minus a squared thing. So this is the difference of squares pattern. The way we're going to factor this is we're going to take the square root of the first term, which happens to be 3, and we're going to put that in both of the front positions. Now we need to take the square root of the last thing. Square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of z squared is z. So I'm going to put 2z in both of the back positions. One's plus and one is minus. Let's take a look at number 12. Ooh, go crazy. I need a fresh slice of tree. There we go. Number 12. It says we have 16x squared minus y squared. Again, we have a squared thing minus a squared thing. If we're recognizing that, we're going to go straight to the two parentheses. Take the square root of my first term. The square root of 16 is 4. The square root of x squared is x. So I have 4x in both of the front positions. The square root of y squared is y. It goes in both back positions. Notice it doesn't matter if they're numbers or letters, you're still doing the same thing. Let's look at 13. We have y plus 2 quantity squared minus 49. Again, we have a squared thing minus a squared thing. So I'm going straight to my parentheses. The square root of anything squared is just that anything, so I'm going to have a y plus 2 in both front positions. Square root of my last thing is a 7, goes in both back positions. One is plus, one is minus. Because our thing here is a binomial, we're going to have to simplify one more step here into y plus 9 and y minus 5. The next one is 14. Again, this one's one of those binomial deals. So if I'm going to go straight to my parentheses, square root of my first thing, because this is a binomial squared, square root of square root and square are opposite operations, so I'm left with x minus 1 in both front positions. Square root of my last thing is a z, goes in both back positions. One is plus, one is minus. Since we can't simplify any terms, we are done. Number 15. We have 64x squared minus 100. In this one, it's kind of tempting to start with the square root of the first term and the square root of the last term, but the very first thing that we always check for anytime we factor is greatest common factor. I see that a 4 divides into both of them, so I'm going to write 4 times the quantity of 16x squared minus 25. Now I have another squared thing minus a squared thing, so I'm going to go to my two parentheses. Square root of my first term is 4 and x, goes in both front positions. Square root of my last term is 5, goes in both back positions. One is plus, one is minus. And the last one that we're going to look at is number 16. We have 4x squared minus 36. Again, I want to go to the first things first, but we have to do greatest common factor. So if I take my 4 out of everything, I'm left with x squared minus 9. Squared thing minus squared thing. Let's go to our two sets of parentheses. Square root of my first term is x, goes in both front positions. Square root of my 9 gives me 3 in both back positions. One is plus, one is minus. Happy factoring!